Hey, happy Labor Day, everybody. And for those of you that are not celebrating Labor Day, happy work. Okay, let's do our weekly overview here. Again, this was historically just an internal scan within the internal MacroOps team between Brandon, Alex, and I that I would do every week. And then we just decided to start providing this out. So here we are. It's 3 p.m. on Labor Day, 3 p.m. Pacific, meaning futures just open. So let's see what we got. Right. We're gonna work in reverse order this week. We're gonna start out with what I want to do is I want to work. This is the weekly S&P. This is I like to use this as an opportunity. This is the 10-week simple moving average of the New York Stock Exchange advancing issues. The symbol is ADV. That's on the bottom panel here. That's a 10-week simple moving average of the actual underlying ticker ADV. So if I was to turn it off, you would see there it is. There's the bleh of it. That's why I use the 10-week simple moving average, so you can actually get some information out of it. Every time we get down to this bottom range, let's call it 1200 on the SMA, we tend to find some good buying opportunities. It tends to end the sell-offs and kind of that's the end of like a big down move. Um, so as far as the SP 500, about a week or two ago, we were looking at the indicator being down there. And last week we had a nice reversal. It's a hammer on a weekly chart. Looks great to me as far as I'm concerned. Let's go ahead and take a look at it on the monthly. Strong, strong trend since pretty much since the October 2023 lows. This thing has just been really pumping. Again, we had that March, April chaos, came right back and have shot back through it. This is just a strong trend. So, what I want to do is take a moment and look at the monthly charts and just get an idea of where we are on everything before we do our blast through all the other things. So, we'll take a look at this is S&P, and I am going to turn off that bottom part. Let's go ahead and take a look at gold. Um, let's take that out. Okay, so all these things. Whoops. So as far as I can see, gold is just in a pure parabolic rip here. And we are starting to break out again. Uh, the parabolic rip from let's call it for the last year and a half from October 2023, similar time frame to what we looked at on S&P. This is substantially stronger than the S&P. This is 50%. Let's call October 2023 lows to here. Yeah, like a 70% move. Um, Also, what I want to note is we had this big kind of blow off top consolidation within, and last month just absolutely up all the way into the end, and here we are into this. This to me, this is a mostly pretty much a bullish breakout from consolidation. Um, so I'm not really bearish in any way on gold here. It could fail. It could fail, and the only thing we have is a little bit of fragility with with such a big move in a short period of time. But one, two, three, that's like 4 months of consolidation after that blow off month. Um, at the above 3,300 and really held. So I'm really not too bearish at all on that. Silver, for its part, um, what I want to talk about, silver, right, is it's back adjusted here. So apparently this thing got up into the near 60s during the US debt downgrade back in 2011. And then I guess 1980 or so, the late 70s. Uh, the thing about silver, again, it's an industrial metal, so it has to be hedged for production reasons. Like if you need silver in your cell phones, in your cars, in your refrigerators, in like a bunch of industrial products, um, it's much like all metals. You need it to be, or I'm sorry, products. You need to know the price of your cogs, right? In order to produce your product. So being able to hedge it and lock in a price allows you to take that to market. Um, there are periods where it breaks that hedge. So August 2010 through 2011, this went, it looks like 25 to like 60. I don't exactly remember that personally happening, but I don't really follow it all that much. But silver's moving, man. Um, Unlike gold, gold was doing that consolidation. Silver has not. Okay. Let me go to the 10-year. I don't have a whole lot to say about the 10-year here. Um, this has just gone straight up. You got a bit of that head and shoulders sort of look to it, but nothing of interest on rates. Let's go to euro. So we'll get into metal or to currencies here. These are monthly charts, by the way. And so a move on this is significant. Okay. Something happening on a monthly chart is significant. The euro, to me, look, this is just a random trend line that I drew. Um, Anywhere you connect the dots on this at any point, we have broken out. Okay. From a downward trend. This is called a changing character. Higher lows, higher highs. Okay. So this since 2008, since the global financial crisis, has been trending lower. And yes, you can see that we did have a period where um, it did break out into 2020 or so. So the flu that will remain nameless. Um, there was a bit of a change in there, but this is all interesting to me. We have um, higher lows, higher highs. So there's a changing character here. It's been happening since the bottom of the equity market in October 2022, September, October 2022, meaning euro and other currencies most likely are gaining strength versus the dollar. So this is showing dollar weakness here. Let's maybe pull up DXY to see. Turn this off. So this is back in 2021. I wrote this. Clearly something changed in June in FX. Okay, great. I don't remember what it was. So that would have been, yeah, you're right. That was right, Chris. June 2021 is when, you know, dollar kind of ripped and we've come back. This is just like equilibrium. Nothing really interesting to see here. Okay, gold, silver. Let's take a look at crude. Let's do CL2 because that'll eliminate that negative thing for the most part. Makes it a little easier to see. Honestly, there's not a lot going on in crude here. Let's go back to CL1 front month. Take these off. These are trades. All I see is that is just pure like real consolidation. into the global financial crisis. It, crude was rising, had a blow off top, and it's been going down steadily ever since in a stair stepping kind of manner, right? Sideways, and then during the commodity crisis in the 2015 era, breaks sideways. We head into the flu, remain nameless, breaks, comes back, and it's still trending lower. So there might be something interesting about um, the AI trade and energy just, pushing. We have some conflict potential in Venezuela right now and Guyana, as a byproduct, or maybe that is the product. So South American oil, crude, it's a heavier crude, is at play, I think. And it does not appear that anything, even look, this was the Israeli-Iran war right here. Like it had a big range, but like that's really nothing, you know. This was the Russia Ukraine, and it's just been really sideways. So if crude does something, I almost want to kind of like put like a barrier above 80 and a barrier below 50, just to see. Outside of those bands, I don't really see a whole lot happening here. And I'm going to blast through everything else soon, but I just want to. I don't see too much there. Let's go to Bitcoin. Um, this continues to be in an uptrend. The monthly is not great, but we've had ugly monthlies within this uptrend that don't really have been uglier. um, and we continue to move higher. So until the trend has uh, changed, I don't really have anything to say. Ethereum continues to be the strongest of the two, and not too much to look at there. Let's just go through the um, S&P sectors. Strong materials, XLB, XLC. This is communication, strong. C, XLE. Energy, really nothing. Again, just a huge consolidation period. Once, if you were to just remove kind of that flu period, mostly sideways. EXLI, industrial, super strong. EXL, I'm trying to remember all of them. XLK, there we go. Strong, XL, MNOP. Staples in a consolidation. So the things that you're needing are not really that important. It looks like since the global financial crisis, Staples ran into basically when the market bottomed and nothing's really happened. PQR, XLRE. Ooh, real estate not looking good. XLS, is that right? No. TSTU. Utilities reversal there. It probably has something to do with AI, something getting a little too short. XL, UV, healthcare, nothing. Interesting, nothing really. A VWX. Discretionary seems to be strong here. So, this looks like a strong, as far as I'm kind of reading it so far on these monthlies. Things are looking pretty good. Let's get into our normal scan. We peaked on the Russell. I went ahead and I pulled our stop up here. So we're trail stopping at 1R. Russell hit a bull vol. This is something that we're going to see. We got S&P, Russell, NASDAQ, all hitting bull volatile, clearly bull volatile. And when we're looking at our market regimes, when we're in bull quiet, which is the green or the yellow one there, both of those, we are not open for a correction. The markets are not available for corrections. Um, so when a correction, and a correction is about 8 to 10% or higher drawdown. So we are now we now have the ability for that to happen. Um, will it happen? When it happened? I don't know. But no longer you can see this head and shoulders sort of scenario on um, uh, NASDAQ, which I'm sure some people are gonna be pointing out, right? We have a head and shoulders boom. Um, let's just see how far down was this? 4%. So let's see let's call it a 10. Let's just go to 10. 21.6 to 22,000 to 21.6 or so on NASDAQ is available as a potential sell. I don't short the NASDAQ or S&P. I will short Russell, but I just don't short NASDAQ or S&P, uh, mostly because of, like just um, there's, just kind of, yeah, there's plenty of opportunity to trade these shorts. But I mean, if we look at 70 years of the S&P 500, uh, only like 10% of its life has it ever really been in a bear quiet or a bear volatile. So it's just not a lot of opportunity. There's so much more opportunity to trade it, to be right and cool amongst your friends. Great. Short the S&P. To be profitable consistently over time, it's just not a trade I'm worth all that interested in getting into. We were short 10-year. Got stopped out. Looks like it's setting up again, so I'll probably put that trade back on coming up this week. Let me put my signal there to remind myself. I throw these on my charts just so that I can see that there is a trade to be done. Uh, there's no trade to be done on Russell, Dow, SPOOs, or Qs. As we get into currencies, we are long Kiwi right now. We are so Kiwi's here, long Kiwi, long Loonie, and we're still long the peso. So these three we are long. Peso has gotten itself into a bull volatile, so we could watch it break. But I do like again, I drew imaginary lines on this and we could see it break in either direction. Doesn't mean that it has to. It's just interesting. The other thing that's interesting with these imaginary lines is the euro, the pound, and Swissy all have this like descending trend line that it broke out of last week. So as we were looking at the euro on that monthly chart, we were looking on, there's not a lot happen on the dollar, but these guys, Euro, Cable, Swissy, are all bullish here. I don't really have a trade to set up on them personally, so I'm not getting into those. I did again take the Kiwi, Loonie, and the peso. The yen, it did have a spike down, and it immediately was brought back into conformity. So keep your mouth shut, Japan. Apparently, is what's going on there. And even though Kiwi started, we're in Kiwi is a better trade setup. Aussie really took off. So a bit more of the that move. Again, we saw gold. Let's go back to gold. I've been talking about gold for the past couple of weeks in the sense that let's just turn off our little cool tool here. It has held this downward range, even when it broke the range, even, wherever you want to draw it, it has held it and put in higher highs and higher lows. So nothing changed, even with this spike up here. That did not change anything. Higher lows, higher highs, and eventually we get to this like range where it gets consolidated and we start to break out. So in the neutral or bull quiet market regime, it looks like we got some room to run there. Copper really is not, there was opportunity to trade it, but it got taken out. Silver. Silver, huge break. Higher. Similar sort of scenario. We were looking at like 36 to hold. It held 37 to hold. Whatever it held again. We kind of saw these. If we were to put like a trend line wherever you want to put your trend lines, they break, but they held. So breaking trend lines is not the that's not how I look at them. I see a break in the trend line, and then I want to look, what is the reaction to that action? Like that happened. Now, how are they reacting to it? As we can see, the trend line here, or this breakout, or whatever, the trend line, here's another, a shorter term trend line. You can see it broke out, came back. This right here is what I actually look for. So we had that trend line down, rising trend line, breakout, pullback. And what I want to be doing, we're already long silver, so this doesn't mean anything anymore, but we've been long silver for a while. This is what I'm looking for. A breakout of a trend, like that trend broke. Now I want to see how the reaction to that trend is. Pullback, held, and actually the you can go along above any one of these, but the simplest one is to do the high breakout. So that gives you the most confirmation. And that's just been going. So again, neutral market regime. Not really racing to chase that one. Seems to be fine. Platinum, it's an industrial metal. The trade was here, but because of the volatility of being in the bull volatile market regime and then right back into the bull volatile market regime over here, I would have expected it to do what it's doing, in the sense that do something big. Not I have no idea the direction, but do something big. It did something big today, about almost 5% when it was up at its highest. Now it's kind of coming back and still doing its whole thing. But we're in bull volatile, so it's a no man land trade for me as we come into energy. Um, Tradable, but there's no trades. RBOB, no trade. Let's go to Brent, no trade. And we've got Natty at all-time lows. I'm not gonna do anything with Natty at all-time lows. If there's no place to short it. Okay, on to ags. We were looking to get long corn, didn't get it. We missed it. The only thing I'm in right now is short soybeans. We had a nice entry. So far, it's just kind of sitting there. Soybean oil, I was looking for it to show the way. Not trading feeder, live cattle. Those have just been massive trends that hurt to watch. Ether and Bitcoin still trades we are currently in, with a lot of opportunity. Let's go. Sugar, nothing. Cocoa, nothing. Coffee. I am watching coffee in that. You remember that how we were looking at silver? So I want to see, so far this trend line is holding, right? So what I want to see is a breakout, a pullback, and then a rip on copper. So last week I was watching it. I'm back to watching it this week. Cotton, nothing. Lumber continues to trend lower, not into it. Tesla, we are long. Ultimately, this is something like the breakout. Whoops. This is that breakout, pullback, retest in a bull quiet market regime. So for me, this is more of a so far it's held. Kind of want to see it come back and do some stuff. Apple, similar scenario. Similar scenario. We had that breakout, retest. So far, looking for it to break out and we're in the bull quiet market regime here. United Healthcare, this was a trade I tried to get on, wasn't able to get it on. But this thing went from 50 points higher than the entry. So just so far to me, this is a changing character. Okay. Um, yeah, this was just going down, going down, going down, going down, gapping and going down, gapping and going down. This one reversed and then gapped up. So this one gapped down and ran up, which is a good sign, right? Um, but yeah, after going from 650 or so down to well over a 50, losing half its value, consolidated, broke down, and immediately once it broke down below its lowest low in quite a long time, um, it got started to get bought, and then it had a gap up. So another gap would be nice to see. I'm not in United Healthcare, unfortunately, but this is likely one that I would like to continue to build positions into. Onto crypto. This is a 2 week chart. The 2 week chart just closed, and we're on the new one right now. Again, this is a reversal setup. And we've had reversal setups that resolved higher. We're continue to be in the bull market in crypto, and Bitcoin continues to be the leader. So even though we had a 7.5% down move in the last 2 weeks, nothing, it's higher highs and higher lows all the way through. Nothing's changed there. To the 3-day chart, this is a higher high here, right? So far, we are doing higher lows, but we also have a lower low. So just slightly interesting. You can see that we did have that head and shoulders during the summer last year, and then that just instantly sent it higher. So not instantly, over that period, sent it higher. Again, we're still in the bull market. When we take a look at, there's nothing to see there. Just generally nothing. It's mostly lackadaisical. Kind of, we had a bit of a sell off here. Can I get you to leave? I don't want to see any of these. Why are you advertising to me? I'm a highly paid customer. We could go from like this low yesterday, and we've continued drifting lower. So right now, nothing is really showing any signs of strength. We'll look for the week to begin. This is a holiday coming back, a Labor Day pullback. And look, everybody in the market right now is aware that, let me just talk to the camera here. Nothing to see. Look, everybody's aware that September's a weak month overall. It's the weakest month overall for the markets. Everybody's expecting a crash. Everybody's expecting things to bottom here. Everybody's looking to buy it. One thing I'll say is that there's a lot of professional accounts or professional trader funds, whatever, right? Who are on the sidelines for the majority of this big rally. My hair's weird. Get a haircut tomorrow. On the sidelines for this big rally, they haven't caught it like the way retail has, and they are big braining it into September, looking to buy the dip. It may happen. I'm just saying that, what happens that when everybody's expecting the same thing to happen, oftentimes it doesn't happen. So I'm not going to be selling off anything just because it's September. As far as risk management goes on our positions in the portfolio, our risk management is there. My stops are where they're supposed to be. I'll adjust them with new information, but so far everything is just doing fine. Alex got us into some good gold and silver positions. Brandon has us into quite a lot of the mining position, the junior miners and other um, names in the mining industry. So it looks like we're positioned for for that. I'm more focused on the equity, the currencies, um, and other commodity side of that. Not that they are not. It's just there's only if I'm trading futures, there's like two or three things that I could actually trade that are exposed into that. Whereas like Brandon can go hardcore in there and really do lead that push. So looking forward to see what we can do here into Q4. And yeah, again, happy holidays, everybody, or happy September.